going to my channel as well. Hi everyone. This is Gun Websites, and I'm on his channel, but we're streaming to my channel because I want to try something new and techy today. Uh, every Second Matters is on the second of every month because that makes sense. So, depending on your schedule, depending on your time zone, you're going to be able to catch Every Second Matters over on Gun Websites YouTube channel if I'm not streaming it as well. All right, that is all I really wanted to say when I got started. G-Webs, how long have you been doing this for? When did you start Every Second Matters?
Right on. Well, first off, thanks for restreaming it because that is pretty cool, and it's using tech and giving you a chance to play with that in a you're not wasting any of your projects on this kind of sample. So that's what it's all about. It started in 2013. I was kind of describing it before you jumped on as a reaction to something that happened in Connecticut. So something happened in Connecticut at the end of 2012. An individual created an atrocity that gets portrayed as a tragedy, like something that was inevitable, when in reality they're reacting to the media. And if you want to attract media attention in a negative way in the United States, you know what to do and where to do it. And in 2012, someone followed that recipe. And in 2013, the reaction from the president was to suggest that executive actions were necessary to solve the health problem or whatever. He wasn't calling it a health problem back then, but the problem of the guns. The guns were to blame, and he started to demonize the ownership and the owners, right, who possess these things. So the reaction to that was kind of the internet was first. The internet existed and YouTube and everything was there, but what was happening is it was just getting its legs. Like the internet had just gotten faster and videos were more of a thing. So at the time, people were kind of coming from the makeup and the video game stuff, and the rest of the YouTube was sprouting its wings. And with that, gun channel started to really have a voice, and a lot of people were watching YouTube as an alternative to Hollywood and produced TV and stuff. So it was a lot more grassroots. And from my perspective, from my site, in 2013, when Obama suggested that he was going to use the executive action to do things that the Congress wasn't willing to do, in other words, just change the balance of power as far as the three pieces of government, the reaction to that started to swell in the conversations online. And those were first seen in the YouTube videos, right? Then those YouTube videos were seen by, and that kind of trickled up, like the conversations trickled into the videos, and then the videos were seen by larger and larger channels. And the conversation got to a point where the people who were watching the talk radio started to listen to it, and they started to bring it up to them. And that's when it hit mainstream, and it was truly ground up grassroots, at least from my angle and a lot of people's perspective on it. So we were kind of watching this all from the sidelines, and having a good time understanding that the internet was part of this and that everyone was responsible. And it seemed like a really strong way for a republic type of government to work, right? Like when something crazy was going to happen, there was a resistance to it, which the internet helped facilitate the communication. And it was sort of like Paul Revere and the whole, resistance to tyranny kind of thing. So in 2013, we started to see the end of that. Like our tensions kind of started to go down, and we were more interested in what we could play with now that we had solved that problem, rather than, I would like to say, finishing the fight. We hit a few punches. We successfully resisted some real abuse, but instead of finishing the fight, we just started to walk away. And that's where Every Second Matters kind of came from. The people that were concerned that we were going to walk away and lose this momentum, lose this awareness of what we could do together. So what we decided was to have an awareness campaign. Long story short, I'm trying to wrap it up faster here. We started to have ideas on what we could do, and we knew we couldn't force anybody to give a shit. But what we could do is create a trickle. We could keep a conversation going, an awareness campaign that let people know who are true Second Amendment advocates that there's others you can talk to. And on the second, we gather and talk about what happened that month, what's coming up, what we can do, so that when we're needed, we're available. And in those times when we're ignored and taken for granted, we're still communicating and having growth. We're still evolving and understanding, so that when we're needed again, we're not dusting ourselves off. We're already at speed and we're ready to lead. At least that's what I like to think of it. And a lot of people think of it as their own thing. So it's an awareness campaign that has no real goal other than do something on the second of each month so that we don't forget what we're capable of and what that Second Amendment's all about. And it's to help normalize it too, since everyone does it in their own way. It's just a creative, interesting way to see who all participates in what we call, or whatever the Second Amendment protects, right? Whatever that's called.
Right. And I mean, I love the fact that it's always different days of the week and it's always different times that you throw it on. So it also gives your opportunity to have lots of different audiences since we're in different time zones and all that fun stuff. So I find that helpful as well. But, and then the other part about
that was actually built into it. So I'm glad you brought that up. That was built into it by doing it on the second day of the month. It's not like a Tuesday show, right? It's not somebody's, at the time when this was created in 2013, a lot of people, the YouTube Live was just coming into its thing. And it was like the initial people that started it sort of had their slots and nobody was challenging those slots at all. So there was like, like the big shows on television in the old days, there was the big show and you could try to go up against it, but you weren't going to. Everybody was watching the big show. So there was all these time slots and we didn't want anyone to own the show or to be dominated by anybody's audience. So by putting it on the second of the month, it's always on a different day of the week. And by making it where nobody owns it, it's just whoever wants to participate can. There can be 30 shows. There can be one show. There could be 0. There could be 10.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it's also definitely good to know that you're not alone. Because I have to say, because back to starting in 2013, I started understanding the importance of going to the Capitol in 2011. It was the first time I went to that Capitol to talk. And Silvermine here, who is a CCL member, I don't know, back in 2013, CCL had about 63 members, and I was one of those. And now we have tens of thousands of members because they've grown in the past decade. But it's good to understand, A, everybody starts somewhere when it talks about, starting to talk about Second Amendment. B, we're all different flavors. We all have different approaches. And yes, Defense Dad, we are gun people. But we all have different ways to go about it. Whether it's, my whole thing is violence prevention and not necessarily to talk to legislators about our Second Amendment, but to talk about violence prevention, suicide prevention, because that's something they have in common. Other people are they are amazingly, what is the word? I don't want to say clinical, but it's just like they know the law, they understand how it's supposed to work, and they can talk to it that way. And the more voices we have that are different, the stronger we're always going to be. And I think it's super good for people to get to see that and understand that, no, you don't have to be a dude in camo showing up with your guns in your back rack on your, well, not that you're allowed to do that at Capitol, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's the idea that we're all unique and different. And it's even more important because we don't all say the same thing or do the same thing in the same way, that everybody shows up. And like I say, on my thing, I can't reach everybody, but at least I can reach you who are watching right now. And then you can take whatever I say or whatever G-Web says that's useful and pass that on to someone else that we're not going to get to. Like Mike White's here. He's out California, I believe. Hillbillies somewhere else where they eat roadkill possum.
Missouri, right in the middle.
Okay. And for those of you who've not seen Hillbillies, they always joke about eating possum. So I'm not making fun of Hillbilly. That's actually something they say on a show. But the idea, especially because the internet is the internet and we can reach out all over the place, we get to find so many different ways to reach out. But with that, I shall leave you guys because I do have to go get my daughter, and that's going to take me half an hour. And then I got to get back for 9 o'clock Eastern time for my Suicide Prevention Saturday. We're going to be on a Great Start Shooting School, either YouTube or Facebook. So, hey, it's Ozzy Osbourne. So G-Webs, thanks for the invite. When I sign off, I'm assuming it's also going to stop streaming to my channel. Is that how this works? Since I've never done this before.
Pretty sure. I'm almost positive. Actually, that's a good question. I can't imagine it would be set up any other way, but you may want to click exit or whatever. It lets you stop, right? You know what? I would imagine it might not, because if we get dropped off of a StreamYard and we own the stream, it'll still keep streaming with everybody else in it. So it might just think you got kicked off. It might stop streaming after a period of time, but probably safe.
Well, if you're on my channel watching this, which it looks like Ozzy, DJ, and JH586 are, y'all can let me know later whether or not it stopped when I left. So, anyway, all right. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you shortly. And thanks for having me on, Pete.
You bet. Thanks for joining.
All right, bye.
So I'm going to make it so that this show redirects into Brooke's show later by going into.
We'll see how this all works. I'm gonna click the close and we'll see what happens. I'll look on the live side and see if it disappears or not. Then I'll know.
So this show will recommend that you head over to the Suicide Prevention Saturday. Since we're talking Every Second Matters, it's cool to have Brooke on. She's got I'm talking and typing at the same time. Hold on. All right, I think I'm done. She's kind of connected with Every Second Matters inadvertently by where she lives, and then her show that we referred to just a moment ago, that Every Second, or the Suicide Prevention Saturday. There's a bunch of things that are happening that are decent, but there's very few that are consistent, and there's very few that are as relevant. When we say 2 out of 3 deaths from a firearm are suicide, that's super critically important, because they'll never say violence. They hardly ever say gun violence. They say they're against gun violence, but then they always have to caveat it by saying deaths with a firearm, because they can't say violent gun deaths. Violent gun deaths are something like 10,000 in the United States, and that includes both good and bad uses of a gun. But the 40,000 number you hear about is when they cram 30,000 suicides onto it, and they'll run around acting like using those numbers to suggest that there's some kind of a problem with guns. There's a problem with that for a number of reasons. One is that they're exploiting suicides for that. They're using it against regular people who are just minding their business. But it's a disservice to the people who are in need, the people that are suffering, that have chosen that path, to have not had any resources or any thought given to their circumstances or the mitigating issues. So what Brooke does on Saturdays is talk about mental health awareness and suicide prevention, with an emphasis on mental health awareness. We talk about broken bones all the time. Oh, I got my teeth taken out or whatever. I had a cavity, no big deal. I've got a pain in my neck or a pain in my back, no big deal. Oh, I got to lose weight or something, no big deal. Oh, I wish I could run faster for some event or something, no big deal. But when you talk about anxiety or you talk about something, stress or something, it gets a little bit into a gray area. And then if you start talking about other things, we just don't talk about other things, right? So normalizing mental health, being able to talk with each other just like you would if you had a broken arm or a broken leg, so that we can get on past things that are either societal or whatever. I don't want to get into all that, but whatever the issues are, we can actually talk about them and not ignore them. That's one of the goals of Brooke's show, or at least one of the consequences of the discussion. And then, of course, understanding how to have conversations about this stuff, make it more comfortable for you to talk about, make yourself more knowledgeable to be comfortable having these conversations, is better for the gun community, because we're lacking in that skill set. It's something that we could be better at. And it's also great when we have conversations with people who hate us or our property, because typically they hate us or our property based on wrong numbers that are fudged, to be nice about it, that are exploited, that and that's again the only way that they can create the hype that's necessary to suggest that our property is the problem. But it's wrong in another way, and that's because even if you exclude the stress and the consequences of suicides, which it's sad and it's a shame that we have to do this in order to have bigger conversations. That's 40,000. That's 30,000 suicides and 10,000 murders and people saving their lives with a gun. It's mostly murders, and then a lot of people saving their lives with a gun. But that's 40,000 altogether. You compare that with the 107,000 fentanyl overdoses last year, which is an increase by 5 times. There was 20,000 the year before, 107,000 last year. That's why they desperately need to suggest that guns are a health issue. 107,000 fentanyl deaths. That's in a world where we have 500,000 deaths attributed to the use of tobacco. Let me say that again. 500,000 deaths attributed to the use of tobacco and 100-something thousand attributed to alcohol. Now, of course, they attribute the tobacco ones to secondhand smoke and health disease. But, that's tough. It's difficult. That's why the ATF can't do nothing about it. But they can certainly do something about firearms, which are barely 40,000 deaths. So when we look at it clinically, it's better to be able to cite these numbers to people who would suggest that there's a health issue or a health crisis with firearms. We got to move past this if we want to end these conversations. But then there's also just awareness. So thanks to Brooke and showing up, and I'll move on past that. You'll be able to talk to her in about 86 minutes about those topics. But we're here to talk about the calendar in 2004. So we've got Thunder on the Prairie. Defense Dad has been putting that on for 3-4 years now. This will be the 4th year. So he talked about that coming up. Thunder on the Prairie 2024 is going to be the first or second weekend in June. Well, I need to know these dates so I can put them into my calendar. I can put them in with, first or second weekend in June, but that's what it'll be permanently if I don't have a date. Not that there's a deadline or nothing, but if I'm looking to put stuff in my calendar, how many other people are looking to fill their calendars, right? So this is that time of year. Let's see. So if you got any other ideas for things to put into a calendar for 2024, let me know. And then otherwise, I'll just sit here doing some of this stuff for the next half an hour in front of everybody. But I figured I'd go live for Every Second Matters, talk about it a little bit, and invite something like 35 people in. So I'll say thanks to our Patreons, people that make it possible for us to spend time on projects like this. I mean, I guess you could wait around for super rich people to just do stuff like this out of the good of their heart. I am not a super rich dude. So, in fact, I just barely got out of a bunch of shit ton of debt. And that came up from killing the transmission in the van when I was driving around one year. And then just putting too much gas and food on the credit card while driving around, checking out gun shops and gun shows for a few years there. I'm out of that debt, and I'll hopefully get this smarter. So going forward, that won't be an issue. But I want to thank those Patreons, the people that kept us going through that time and kept 3 servers online for, well, I'm not going to get into it, but hundreds of websites at various stages of being put together. So again, I appreciate the fact that they kept that stuff going for a number of months and have been participating, some people for years. We do a podcast daily. We're getting back to getting on that pace again. We have presence on most of the platforms, and once we have time to do it again, we'll start participating in more of the platforms that are out there. Not because we're desperate for attention. In fact, you don't know who the fuck I am. We're really doing this because the internet is built on reciprocal links, a bunch of back and forth links going out to the different places on the internet. And that can just happen. But when it happens with intent, that's engineering, and that's what we attempt to do. So this project, our other projects, are efforts to use the best efforts available, the best strategies available at the time to help get the word out about things that matter, about people who are doing projects that are of value that don't have the ability to pay people to do that kind of stuff or learn it on their own. And even if you did know how to do it, doesn't mean you have a semi-truck or a shipping container vessel, on your side. So what we attempt to do is be that semi-truck that drags smaller projects around and lets people know about them. And the support of those Patreons is what kept these semi-trucks or those servers online. And, with all those, it's basically, maybe that's a way to talk about it. Our servers are essentially just big trucks, big places on the internet that people can find. They're driving around doing their thing. Every once in a while, people find them. Not too many people are looking for semi-trucks. They're just there. That's what we do. We just provide information out there, and we do our best to make sure that information is useful and available. And we link to the people that make it possible, not just the Patrons, but the Brooke Cheneys and the Tony Simons and the KDs, the people that are out there getting it done. And again, don't necessarily have the time or the ability to worry about all the intricacies of how the internet works. So that's a little bit of the tech on our side. That's why we call ourselves Gun Websites. We do a lot of stuff on the web side of it. And those Patreons are the people that subscribe to what we do. most of them are dropping $5 on us each month, essentially buying me a cup of coffee, keeping us going. Some of them are buying us lunch, $25 a month, somewhere in between. And that accumulates, and it adds up to a couple $100, or more than that sometimes, and keeps our stuff going. Eventually, we're going to get back on the road, and the Patreons will help us to spread that cash around to gun shops again. Back in the day when we drove around, one of the funnest things we did was get a bunch of money from Patreons and then drop that at the different gun shops that we visited. So we would just drop in on a gun shop and take a look around. And if they had, ideally, patches, but not very many of them do, but a lot of them have t-shirts and hats, we would buy up whatever t-shirts and hats we had in our budget and then send those out to the Patreons. We'd go to gun shows and buy cool stuff, and I'd include that in the packages too. But essentially, we were going around and just spending money at gun shops, exploring them and checking them out, and then sharing that online. You can check that out at Gun Shop Guide. It's either Gun Shop Guide or Gun Shop Review. One of the two of them links to the other one. But we've got 300 something gun shops in that project, 33 of the gun museums. Let's see, Mike is saying, I'd love the 2024 calendar even more if you'd make the boxes for the days of the week bigger and writing in them larger and darker. That's a good point. Thanks for the feedback. There's different ways to, like lay out a calendar. And I had been thinking about laying it out differently. Since I have to redo it all anyway for 2024, I'll definitely take that so definitely put that into the equation for when I'm putting it together. Let's see. It's a Gun Shop Guide. Thanks. I had Gun Shop Guide and Gun Shop Review. They were going to do two different things, or they did two different things back in the olden days, but they just point to each other now. All right, so we're not getting anybody else joining us, so I'm going to go through and I'll just talk here as I'm going through the stuff, I guess. So what am I going to do? I think I'll just open up the site here. When I was talking to Brooke, I opened up a Word document, and I was just typing in some stuff into the Word document, but I have to think and type and click a few things, and then we'll be into the back end of the calendar site, and I'll just update the calendar site while we're sitting here talking. All right, so why don't I just drag this? Let's see, I'll drag this over here. What is this going to be? For now, it'll be this, and we'll put this over here. And I'll go back to the main page, and we'll share this so you can look at something besides my weird logo wiggling at you. This does hypnotize you to buy things at gearwebsites.com, though, so go ahead and buy things at gearwebsites.com if you've been hypnotized. Most of you are here for the puppy. That's why I put the puppy down during the live show, so that people don't come in here and looking at that puppy. Hold on. Is that the right button? No. Dang it. That's the right button. There's the puppy right here. He's sleeping. He can't be bothered. At some point, he figures out I'm not talking to him, and then he goes to sleep. Half the show, I think he thinks I'm just talking to him. He's like, you can't be talking to the wall. He's certainly not talking to that piece of plastic, so he's talking to me. And then after a while, he gets bored if I'm not petting him. If I petted him, he'd wake up. See? Nope, went right back to sleep. Oh, you got a snore out of him, though. All right, well, so then we'll dig in over here and take a look at what we had in the 2023 firearms events. And essentially, I just go like this and figure out where they're going to be this year, or what time they're going to be this year. Is this going to work with me or not? So I can just drag that up to the browser and it'll open, right? And then change that to 24. So it's going to be super boring unless somebody else jumps in. I linked to like 33 people, so you think somebody would jump in, but it's all good. So let's see, lobby day info, same page. So I'll grab that thing there I'll go over to this new page and set up some bullet points. So essentially a blank version of that page, and I'll say, give me some bullet points. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of jab this over there. Got to do a shift enter, stuff like this. Super interesting. So now we'll put a V for next year. And that goes to the winner goes to VCDL, Virginia Citizens Defense League. So they're the ones that a bunch of people, a couple of the original 4 or 5 dudes from Arizona Citizens Defense League, they moved to Arizona from Virginia. And then they came out here and went, oh, there's not an Arizona Citizens Defense League like there is in Virginia. Let's make one. So the Virginia Citizens Defense League made the Arizona Citizens Defense League, period. That's just the facts of it. Not intentionally, but the results of what Virginia had done came out over here. And then 9 years later, Arizona got constitutional carry after only Vermont, who had never had any kind of restrictions. Alaska had said, screw it, we're doing constitutional carry, but nobody cared because it was Alaska. And then in 2009, Arizona Citizens Defense League led an initiative to get constitutional carry here in Arizona as the 3rd state. And guess what? Every other state happened because of Arizona and those 5 dudes at the Arizona Citizens Defense League, and they exist because of the Virginia Citizens Defense League. Nobody else will admit that, but that's how it happened. So theirs is the first lobby day of the year. It'll be Monday, January 15th, 8 a.m. to noon, rally at the bell tower. So that's the kind of stuff I'll put into the website. I guess I'll fiddle with the formatting later. All right, and then I guess I'll leave that up just in case. This is I end up with a bunch of tabs. Then we'll have the Arizona 2A rally, and no way to know when that is unless they've already announced it. So we'll find out. Oh, look at that, February 17th. Now, they do theirs inside of an image, which is nice, thank you. But if you don't write it somewhere, then I got to write it again, and that's lame. So, come on, man. Yep, I'm going to have to write it again. Oh, no, here it is. Second Amendment rally in Phoenix, February 17th. There we go. Thank you. So, they gave it to me, so I didn't have to write it, which is actually not just me being lazy, but that means that the internet can read it, right? Because the internet can't read that image there. No matter how much you want it to, it ain't going to read that image. But human eyeballs read that image. So let's save this image real quick. Let's put it in a place that it can be found with similar images so that I can find it again, right? Let's name it what I already just copied and pasted, 2024, and save. Now I have that image to put in the stuff too. Oh, look at this. So this is neat. I was wondering why I'm seeing these little linky things. This must be from people that were on Brooks' channel, right? Because it has a little linky thing there. It's pretty neat. Did Brooke close her show down, or is it still going? Does anybody know? All right, so now we have 2 of them, VCDL and Arizona Citizens Defense League. Next, we have West Virginia Citizens Defense League Lobby Day. We'll drop that up into the search engine. I'm not going to put the date anymore. Let's just see if these organizations are up on it or not. In other words, if they've already got their stuff up. WCDL events. WVCDL events. Sorry. Ugh, goes to Facebook. Everybody hates Facebook. Upcoming events. Look how long Facebook's taken. What a waste. Dinner party. We'll do 2024 after all. Oh, she did not close it. It is still going. Okay. Well, I'm streaming on Brooke's channel, so this is the kind of boring stuff I do on my channel. That's why you should watch Brooke. She's more interesting than this. Let's see. So we've got the elections calendar. Well, that's a good trick. Go over to images real quick. See if they've got an image for their lobby day. 2020 lobby day. Look at how many they've had. Lobby Day 2020 looks like it got a lot of attention. All right, well, nothing. So I'm guessing, since this is hard to find, that they don't have theirs up yet. We'll close that tab. No need to have a dead tab open. Let's see. Then we have, this one was Minnesota. 2000 rally to defend the Second Amendment. And we'll drop that up there. And then Minnesota. Really? You can't figure out what I'm typing here, Google? Whatever. So I'll just put 2024 rally. They're having their banquet or something coming up. You'd think if they got their banquet, they might have their rally figured out already. Got some kind of a press release. No, that was from last year. So it looks like Minnesota ain't got theirs up yet either. All right, so we're not scoring pretty good here. Do we know when iGold is? I think Ghazi was out there, right? We'll just type in iGold 2024. The internet will know what that is. Yep, we already got that one. And they've got it as a page of their site. They've got a image up here, but it's the same image they always put up. Oh, this is just their plain old iGold page. Okay, well, whatever. So it doesn't matter. So it says iGold will be April 24th. Or no, April 18th. Sorry, don't listen to me. I'm talking and typing at the same time. April 18th in 2024 is what I was trying to say. Okay, what's going on here? Come on, man. This is horrible. So I still got 68 minutes for Brooke. I think I'm going to end this in 10, so I'm just going to close that window. I'm going to close as many windows as I can. My internet's chopping up here. Yeah, I'm using Gizzard's modem. It's not Gizzard's fault that my internet is bad, right? Let's just stop blaming Gizzard for this. Yes, I'm using Gizzard's modem that he gave to me for nothing. But it's not his fault that my internet's doing bad. Let's close this. Let's go over here. Let's save this and... Oh, no, I don't even need to save nothing. I'm just going to cancel this. This is probably half the problem. Let's copy this out of this and just close it. I'm willing to just close it. Then go over here and paste it here. Okay, good, that worked. So now we'll... What are we calling this? So now I have to... I'm publishing this over here. We'll call this 2024... Okay, so now we can publish this, and let's see if it makes the internet run any better. Oh, I'll shut down the Gilded. All right, now I barely have 3 windows open. How bad did the internet chop up there? I had some pretty bad internet on this end. So next is the Missouri Gun Rights Rally Day at the Capitol. This one was in April of this year. How many people in Missouri call it Missouri versus how many people in Missouri call it Missouri? We're asking Hillbilly Up and anybody else that lives in Missouri. Let's see. Missouri Gun Rights Capitol 2024. This assumes that they're going to call it the same thing in each year, which some of them do. I don't want to say most of them. Some of them do that, but there are a few that just name their rally a different thing each year. And I'm not sure if I'm okay with that. I think there's some, at least for the internet, there's some advantage in consistency. They got a lot of 2024 written all over everywhere. This is the Missouri Firearms Coalition. How about an event page? Don't see anything about a rally. Got every Alan Anchor out there. Now in Arizona. Yeah, I don't see anything about any kind of rally, so I guess we'll close out of that one also. Let's see, we got Big Sandy, which probably already has their stuff. So now we're switching out of rally mode. Let's see, I can go up here and click over to rallies. Let's do that real quick, like. And this is my list of all the rallies. So we already looked at Minnesota, Missouri. How about the Pennsylvania rally? Before we get into the shoots. Biden to attend first 2024 rally next week. Oh, he's going to a 2A rally, huh? Well, it looks like that took over all the headlines. Well, maybe that's why Barbecue didn't join, because he's getting ready for Biden's rally. We'll never know for sure. Let's see. Then we got Goals, Gun Owners Action League from Massachusetts. And let's see what they've got going on for a freedom celebration in 2024. This one looks like the one that was in Quincy not too long ago, celebrating the show Quincy. Actually, I was going to watch that show. I got to go find it again. Barbecue is preparing the ice cream for Biden. He's scooping it up for him. Probably is. He seems like a scooper. All right, I'm not finding it. So, wait. Nope, that's our rally. I'm going to click on this anyway because goal is good. Having goals are good, and Gun Owners Action League is good. Look at this website. No frills, just plain old. There you go. It's not great or nothing. It's super old, but it's working. How about an event page, though? How about an event page? Nope. 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 No. Raffle. I don't see nothing about it. Am I missing something? Info. Events. Dang it. All right. Well, we don't get nothing from goal. And let's see. What else do we got?
You may not be able to hear it, but this little dog is snoring. You could care less about Second Amendment. I don't even think this dog is 2A anymore. If he's getting up and stretching, like if he cares about 2A, but he don't. He's sleeping while he's sitting up. That's snoring. Oh, he's being gross. Hold on. He's being super gross. Let's see. So, Utah Freedom Rally. I'll go check that out. Protest. Come on. So that's where Freedom Rally went to. Maybe that's why some places change their names. North Carolina Stick to Your Guns Rally. Now, these are annual rallies that haven't happened in years, but somebody's got to go through and search for these things just to make sure that they don't pop back up again. Well, I guess nobody has to, but that's one of the things I do because I'm a rally nerd. Then what I like to do when I'm all done with this is try to figure out where all the rallies are going to be and then put them into Google Maps and with a calendar and try to see if it's possible to go to all the rallies. Nope. See who's taken over the word rally? And that's interesting that if you go back to 2020, when we were going to have an unprecedented amount of Second Amendment rallies for that year, unprecedented amount of rallies, we see the word rally turned into riot mixed interchangeably. So it's almost like they wanted to demonize the word rally, like they demonized the word shooter. But only people that have control of the narrative would be able to accomplish something like that. It would be paranoia to think otherwise. Kansas, secure our free state. Looking at Gizzard. Everyone's looking at Gizzard right now. Are they going to have a rally? No. I think a lot of times once they get constitutional carry, nobody cares about a rally anymore. Colorado rally for our rights. Problem is, if they change the name of the rally, how would I know? Right? I wouldn't know. So I have to hope that they've doing something on one of their websites or something. So this is one of the groups in Colorado at a state level. Nothing about a rally, though. He's gone back to sleep. He woke up for a little bit when I claimed that he wasn't 2A, and then he decided, yeah, I'm not, so I went back to sleep. New Hampshire, hold the line. Remember New Hampshire? When's the last time you heard about New Hampshire? Did you even know there's a New Hampshire? I bet you New Hampshire and New Mexico are always hanging out together. They should chop off all the panhandles and call them New whatever, like New Kansas doesn't have one. New Nebraska. They could have NN as their abbreviation. New Texas, New Oklahoma, New Oak. So that's what they would call it because they're too lazy. New Oak. Yeah, I don't see anything. Wait. No, primary. Just about election year. What do you know? Election year news is starting to take over. It's almost like some of these rallies would have held rank, and if they would have just kept their taglines, they would have dominated the election news coverage. The potentials we have, and we just squander. Nothing about Ohio Patriots Day, which is actually a pretty lame way of calling your rally, I think. And then New York, support the 2nd March. Here's the problem with that. If it isn't in March, everyone's going to get confused. And if it's in March and it's not on the 2nd, You know what I'm saying? So you need to do your Second Amendment march on March 2nd. Right? What the heck? Second Amendment march, March 2nd, all over the country. So, nope, nothing. So, it took us an hour, but we chatted with Brooke for a while there to kind of go through and evaluate that there are 1, Arizona, 2, Virginia, 3, no, we don't have one from Arizona, 3, iGold, nothing in New Hampshire, and nothing in. So there's going to be 3 rallies next year. You know, gun shows weren't that big a deal. Nobody wanted to go to them anymore. They cost too much. Ammo wasn't cheap enough at them. Oh, it's too expensive to go in, and oh, you got to park or whatever. There's all these excuses why gun shows are no good. But, you know, you don't want to hang around with gun people or whatever. That's pretty lame anyway. So I wouldn't want to go to a gun show. I could see why you'd rather not be around gun people, not experience anything new or see stuff that's for sale that might be interesting. I get that. So then you don't want to go to a range anymore because, you know, ranges are lame. Oh, there's too many safety officers there. Oh, you can't do exactly what I want to do at the range. There's no benefit at all to the range. If I can't do exactly what I want, it's useless. So don't go to the range no more. All right. Yeah, local gun shops, they're not as cheap as online. Local gun shop, that guy was mean to me. Oh, that local gun shop didn't have exactly what I wanted, price I wanted it for it or whatever. Oh, that local gun shop, no, I never buy nothing there. But the prices are super expensive. I just go to the big box stores or whatever. Oh, rallies? I don't want to go to a rally. Rallies too. Oh, no, I got to go hang out with other gun people. I don't want to go to a rally. So that's how it happens. People just make individual choices and shit starts to fall apart. So, you know what? I don't know what the hell you do, but if there's something you do out there that ain't something you like doing, maybe brushing your teeth, maybe shovel in the snow. A lot of y'all love snow so much you shovel it all the time because you don't want to get sued, probably. You probably don't even care what your concrete looks like. You probably just don't want to get sued, right? So you shovel all that snow, or you have it shoveled because you're fancy. You have it shoveled by somebody. But, you know, what are these? Are these obligations? Are these responsibilities? Are these opportunities? Are these resources that we don't appreciate because we don't participate in them, or they aren't exactly what we thought they were going to be, and we have no interest in changing them? I don't think it's any of that. I think this stuff is all dynamic. I think there's nobody working against us. I think that if we experience other gun owners, we start to figure out there's a lot of cool shit to do out there, and participating is how we keep this shit alive. So we just had Small Business Saturday. Hopefully a lot of people participated in your local gun shops. You went there, you bought some ammo. Hopefully on Cyber Monday, a bunch of people participated buying stuff. I tried to do that. People bought stuff from us. We tried to buy as much stuff as we could from other people. We've got gun shops. We've got gun shows. We've got rallies. We've got ranges. And we've got each other. So, you know, at some point we don't have any of those things. And then we got nothing. All right, well, thanks everybody for showing up. I'm going to wrap this one up and get back to working on my calendar. Actually, I can do it a lot faster when I'm not talking on the internet. And I made cold coffee, which I'd rather have hot coffee because it's so freaking cold here. So we'll wrap this one up and throw a commercial out there. Since nobody showed up, I'll throw a commercial out there for our Gear Website store. Consider buying stuff from Allen Anchor. I think they give you free shipping if you buy over $35 worth of stuff. They got all kinds of cool things over there. And thanks for joining in.
It's 11:50.
Put this one up for Patriot, who we lost as a supporter. So sorry to see you go, Patriot.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least one free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least one free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.